Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany,
And I'm Cynthia.
and today we're talking about season 2, episode 5, titled I Will Dare, air date October 19th, 2004, and the synopsis is
Felix organizes a dare night to test the limits of his new classmates. While out playing the game, Lucas meets a mysterious new girl named Anna. Kanan confesses to the church that she recently tried cocaine, and Keith is caught off guard when a beautiful woman comes to the shop and begins flirting with him. Meanwhile, Karen goes on a date with Andy. So we start off at school with everyone at their lockers. Nathan asks Lucas, "What's up?" That's when Lucas, Nathan, and Haley find similar cards in their lockers.
I love how they're all like, Brooke? As if she's the one up to this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she doesn't really want to spend time with Lucas, right? So why would she invite him? You know what I mean?
Right.
If she was doing this, I was like, that was kind of weird, but it was just funny. Because, I mean, obviously she is the partier. You know what I mean? Like the one to actually organize something.
Yeah.
But of course, it's Felix because the girl's got something.
Mm-hmm.
So when they met up,
Mm-hmm.
all of them, literally all of them, including Mouth, Skills, Fergie, where was Junk?
I don't know.
And Tim was there too. Were they at Karen's cafe? Like, where were they?
Yeah, they said cafe, so I suspect it was Karen's. Yeah.
I mean, but like the looks Lucas was giving, as if I don't want to be here, I don't like you. To Felix, I was like, if that was my son, and it's my cafe, I would be like trying to, I don't know, I would get the vibe, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but if I was the parent, I just would be like, why is my son uncomfortable over there?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just figured they wouldn't meet there just because it's a little too close to Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
And like if his mom is there, you don't want his mom to find out you're doing illegal stuff,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Especially with somebody you've never met.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so it could have been a different cafe, who knows? So they meet up later about to hear about Felix's idea about them playing dare night, and each envelope contains a two-part dare, and each dare is worth a certain number of points. And they'll each have a phone that has picture and video to send their proof to the other team. And they have until midnight to do all the dares. And then they meet back there.
So when he said who's in, Haley was like throwing hers down. I'm in. I'm like, what?
Right.
Like so unlike Haley.
Mm-hmm.
And then Peyton's like, me too, or whatever. Like, and then I'm just like, what? But when Haley did it, I was like, okay, this is out of character.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tim, he has his own card.
Yeah, handwritten card.
But my thing is, the group doesn't really like him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Nathan tolerates him, probably because he feels bad for him. But Brooke Brooke really doesn't like him. So, and my thing is how would he know that they're all going there for something unless he followed Nathan?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Because
Gotta be.
this was a group activity if they were invited.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else was there that wasn't invited.
Right.
So I was like, he must have followed Nathan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Felix tells Tim he can play if Lucas and Brooke play. Brooke and Lucas look at each other, and then Brooke adds her card, and then Lucas does the same. And then Felix announces that it's boys against the girls.
And he's a part of the girls' team?
Yeah, I guess to make the numbers more even, but still, yeah.
I don't know how. If that
Yeah.
was the case, then why did you invite Mouth, Skills, and Fergie?
I don't know, just the more chance to see somebody mess up and get embarrassed. I don't know. Get caught.
Because like for me, I mean, I loved that they were all in it, but I'm just saying for like number wise, I was like, doesn't really make sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you were trying to even it, you would take them out of it.
Right.
But I did love that they were in it.
Right. Me too. So Felix gives Lucas a key, says it's his first date, or dare, and then the theme song. Been a good minute since it wasn't at the beginning of the episode. And then Lucas uses the key to open a locker to find clothes with a card saying to return the clothes to the stores in the mall. And Nathan asks what's so hard about that. So part two reads that they have to wear them when returning them.
So I love how Lucas was like, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And he says it's because Felix thinks he won't do it.
Right.
Now, you said this was a real mall, right?
Yeah, that's what Hillary and the girl said, I believe.
And you
Or Brett
said
or
like
Sylvia.
people, and you said people were like actually there, right?
Right, yeah.
Um, how would you like to be at the mall and see Chad Michael Murray come out
Mm-hmm.
in a bra?
Right, yeah. I'm
I was
surprised the
like, if
crowd
I
wasn't
was at the
formed.
mall, I'd be like, what is this?
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't a big crowd when he walked out and, was walking with no, it was like no shirt, but he had like a bra on, I think, wasn't it, or
Well,
something like that?
because at first he had the shirt, then he had to take the
Mm-hmm.
return the shirt, and then it was the bra only.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, it's like you don't know what's happening. So you're just like, what? And obviously he's filming, but you're like, just like, what is he doing? Like, what is this scene? And then I'm sure like people were probably like, okay, I gotta tune into whatever episode this is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he was well known then. So it's not like, someone else walking
Mm-hmm.
and doing a
Yeah.
scene that they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm surprised there wasn't a bigger crowd. So Felix says that they're gonna divide up and Haley and Peyton go together and then him and Brooke go together.
And she's like, why do I have to go with you?
Mm-hmm.
So why why would she think that he would go with Haley or Peyton?
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, you know how weird that would be because he doesn't even know them.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like the teams were people that knew each other.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, why would those two be with him?
Mm-hmm.
That didn't
Right.
make any sense because the one that knows him is Brooke.
Mm-hmm. And then the next scene, Karen meets Andy in his office while he's hanging up an art piece on the wall. Andy asks Karen how things are going. Karen brings up that he's been going to the cafe for coffee every morning this week. And while she enjoys seeing him, it's just she's not sure if it's appropriate.
He's only getting coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
mean, what do you think of this? Do you think he's in the wrong or what?
no, I think he just wanted to go see her, which I don't, think is harmful necessarily.
I mean, she owns a cafe. He's
Mm-hmm.
supporting it by
Yeah.
getting his coffee there.
Mm-hmm.
She's in a business class, so
Mm-hmm.
he's helping her business.
Right.
He could tell his friends or colleagues to go there too. I don't see, you know what I mean? Unless he's sitting there making passes at her and judging her and all this, like, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, it's just
As
him
long
going
as
every
he's
day.
only, but as long as he's only going to get his coffee and that's it, we're good.
Mhm. Yeah.
It doesn't cross any lines in my mind. Plus, they're adults
Mm-hmm.
and they are, she's in college and, her teacher is, way younger than her. How old is Andy? Did we ever figure that out?
Um, I don't know. I think drama queen girls said maybe, I don't know, mid to late 20s, maybe.
Because didn't he say he's sold something? Wasn't it something about 25?
That was 21.
I don't know. Maybe he's 25. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Um, but yeah, so I didn't see anything where he was crossing the line with this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah. So Karen says she jumped to conclusions. She says she's sorry and tells him to forget about it. He
How
says
would
he
you
won't
like
mention
that
it.
weird, how would you like that weird conversation?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it was so awkward. And then it's like, oh, I have to see you at school tomorrow or today. That's
Mhm.
weird.
Yeah. He says he won't mention it again as long as she has dinner with him. She
Yeah.
thinks
Now
about it
that,
and then says yes.
okay, she's mad about the coffee,
Mm-hmm.
but she's gonna go have dinner with him?
Right. Yeah.
What?
And that was a flip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like you were just saying he crossed the line for getting a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're gonna have dinner with him?
Right.
That's a little more intimate in my mind than a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not getting you a cup of coffee. It's not like you're going for a date of coffee. He's literally buying it from you and walking out. What's
Right.
intimate about that compared to a date or compared
Mm-hmm.
to actually dinner?
Right.
Okay. And he's rich. It's going to be a rich restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
like an expensive one.
Yeah. And then at the mall, Lucas is walking to a store wearing a red
The
blouse with
shirt.
frills. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he starts unbuttoning the shirt. He says like to return it,
She
and
was
he's wearing a
she was
black bra.
funny because it was funny because she's like, so what's wrong with it? And then he's like,
Mm-hmm.
he's like talks about the size is wrong, and she's, oh, did you want a different size? No.
Yeah.
I was like, Lucas, I was laughing through this.
Mm-hmm. And then he asks a random woman to take a picture of him with a cashier on the phone.
And you know that cashier was loving it.
Mm-hmm. And then with Haley and Peyton, they're at a food place where Peyton ordered 5 pickled eggs, and I never even heard of this until the show. And then Haley asks Peyton, what if she takes a picture of her eating 1 egg and then say they ate, she ate 5.
Right, helping a friend out.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, that's called cheating and we don't cheat. And then Haley said, you cheated with Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Cynthia,
Yeah.
cheating in a game of dare
Mm-hmm.
is a whole lot different than cheating with a person.
Right. It was just a funny joke to
No, it wasn't.
her.
It's how is that a joke?
Well, Peyton thought it was funny, but did tell her not to make her slap her.
Because I'm just like, if I was Peyton, I'd be like, what? Like, I would be a little bit more offended,
Mm-hmm.
first of all. But I'm like, um, I don't know. I'm thinking that, cheating with somebody is a whole lot worse.
Right.
I'm like, we can't even put those in the same category, Haley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they get the eggs and Peyton goes to eat one. She takes a bite and Haley takes a picture. And he takes the
She's
egg.
regretting the whole not cheating,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Would
so she
you?
spits it out. Mm.
Would you?
About Haley's comment.
Would you have done the eggs?
Oh, I don't know. Like I said, I never even knew they existed, but probably not.
You probably would have been like, we'll do the one egg. And
Hmm.
my thing is with this there, how do you know that the person is actually going to eat all 5 of them?
Right. I mean, they had video they could have used, but I feel like it was a very limited time for video, maybe up to 30 seconds back then, maybe a video, and
Yeah,
that's
and if
not
it's
quick enough.
taking
And it's too quick to eat all of them.
yeah, if it's taking her too long to eat the first one,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
can't imagine that the video would hold.
Hmm.
Because that was my thing was, how do you know they're not going to cheat? You know they're not going to eat the eggs. So why would you even think that they're going to eat 5?
Right.
I would say, thinking at the dares, that's probably the only one you could cheat at, right? I feel like. Because everybody else was more like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, everything
Well,
was like physical, like you had to do something, but this one was definitely one that you could actually cheat. The rest of them, I don't know if you could really cheat.
didn't Skills, Fergie, and Mouth kind of compromise on theirs with the animal? I think they got a different animal than what they're supposed to.
Well, they were supposed to get one animal.
I thought maybe it was supposed to be a snake or something. I
I
can't
know
remember.
because they were in the goddamn snake aisle.
Mm.
No, but then they said the fish. But I don't know. I think that that's probably like the one you could actually cheat.
So Haley picking on Peyton saying like not cheating tastes good after she spit it out. So Peyton gets her back by shoving the bite of egg she spit out on a napkin in Haley's face. And now I feel like Nathan and Tim are the only ones that maybe got more than one dare to do.
No, because
Because
Haley and Peyton were at that.
oh yeah. I remember at the church, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
and
I
they
feel
were
like all of them.
at the ball.
Oh,
What you call it?
the batting
Batting
cages.
cages. Yeah.
I forgot. It just seems like I think Lucas and Mouth Fergie and Skills had only one, I think, dare to do.
No, they had the ball. They had the batting cages too.
Oh right. And what
They
about
only had,
Lucas?
and they had the stage one.
Oh yeah. I forgot all about this already.
Lucas,
Um
for some reason, all of his dares revolved around clothes and the mall.
mhm.
Everybody
Oh
else had
yeah.
to like everybody else had to like go to different places. But
Hmm.
Lucas was just hanging out in the mall the whole time.
Yeah, and I forgot he had the photo booth too. That was another one.
Yeah, but that was in the mall, right? But
That had to be.
isn't it kind of weird that like all his dares were return this item at this store, return this one, return like that's what
Right.
yours involved?
Hmm.
It's kind of weird. Everyone else's was definitely separate.
Yeah. So Nathan and Tim get to the spa for their dare. They ask for the special. Tim says it's a happy ending and starts ringing the bell for service. Excuse me. And then the next scene is with Brooke and Felix at a restaurant. Brooke has to get a table as the place is busy. They go to the podium. The man asks for her name. She tells him. He quickly says no. And Brooke says he didn't even check the list. The man says perhaps there's another name. And Brooke says Angelina Jolie. The man says no again. And she just goes back and forth with different names. He keeps saying no. And then the man, she keeps pushing and says, even like Queen Latifah at the end. And he says, afraid not.
Okay. She don't look like any of those people.
Right. I don't know why she did
Why is
that.
she using famous people's names? That was my thing. Like everyone
Hmm.
knows who all those famous people are.
Yeah. She even says the Queen of Hearts is a fictional character. So,
But I will say Felix definitely was messing with Brooke out on her dares.
hmm
Did you notice in this episode that for the dare, there was one person doing the dare on every one of the dares?
like doing the same, like, oh, do you know the deers?
It was Lucas,
Hmm.
Peyton,
Brooke.
Brooke,
Mm.
Mouth, and Tim.
Tim. Yep.
Everybody else
Yeah.
was getting out of it.
Yeah. So that wasn't fair.
I know. I was like, I thought it should be you do one, I do one,
Hmm.
not you do them all, and I just laugh at you.
Right.
That's not exactly dare night.
Hmm. And then Felix pulls the waiter to the side and whispers something in his ear. The man says table for two and leads him to their table. Rick asks Felix how he did that, and Felix answers that he made a reservation for two last week. So that was just wasting time,
Mm-hmm.
messing with her.
That's, I mean, all hers were just to mess with.
Hmm.
Everybody
And then,
else's seemed like real dares.
right. And then a woman enters the dealership. Keith asks if she can help, he can help her with anything. The woman says $41,467. She knows exactly what the dealer invoice on this car is, and she doesn't want to haggle on anything, then ends it with take it or leave it.
Was
Keith
that a
asks
little
if she's sure.
suspicious to you?
Yeah,
Because I mean, she just walks straight in and just starts
saying what she wants.
saying numbers, and it's like, what?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, Keith says maybe she wants to test drive the car before she pays him. And then the next scene is back at the mall with Lucas, who is still shirtless but has a black bra on. People see him and start laughing and pointing. And then a security guard sees him as well and talks to someone watching the cameras on his walkie-talkie. Then at the next scene, Skills, Mouth, and Fergie are at a batting cage. Mouth reads the cards that says they have to get hit on the fastest pitching machine or ball
Well,
on
and
the pitching
it
machine.
was funny because Skills is like, I'll go. You know, he just thinks he's gonna hit the ball.
Hmm.
And it's like, no, use your head.
Yeah.
What? What kind of dare is that? And then
Hmm.
then he's mouth, and it's like, Come on now. Why are they using mouth?
Mm-hmm.
That made me mad. You wanted the dare.
Right.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and then to make mouth do it, I was like, that's rude.
Mm-hmm.
And then wasn't it this one where he was like, well, what are you two doing? And Skill said, I'm taking the picture. And Fergie said, I'm helping him.
Yeah.
I was like, you're helping him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so Felix has said that none of the dares would harm them, but I think this is the closest one because even though they have their
Brain
helmet
damage.
on, yeah, still purposely letting themselves get hit in the head with the ball is dangerous.
Yep.
And then back at the restaurant,
And depending too on if you're tall or short, it could hit other parts of your body and injure
mhm,
you. And those balls
yeah,
are coming out fast.
right.
So that's rude.
Mm-hmm. And then back at the restaurant with Brooke and Felix, Brooke says to him, "You couldn't get a date and move to new towns and trick people into eating with you." Felix says sarcastically that she exposed him as he's emotionally naked there. He asks, "What about her? What's her story?" She says, "Bored and ignored." Felix says, "Bored, maybe, but she's never been ignored by a guy in her life." Brooke says she meant at home, then ironically calls him genius, and says guys are easy. They usually fall for her over the first pathetic little dinner. And Felix asks, what do they call for first, the shoplifting or the eating disorder?
I didn't like that.
Yeah, me
Okay.
either.
And my thing is, you're trying to get with Brooke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you bringing up an eating disorder, which I don't like, and you're
Yeah.
bringing up shoplifting?
Yeah, where did they even come from, the eating disorder?
I know. I'm like, whoever said Brooke had an eating disorder?
Mm-hmm.
And even if she did, that's her own personal business.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Felix's business.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a very sensitive subject, and you shouldn't be bringing up as a joke.
Yeah, but it
'Cause
wasn't back
didn't
then.
he say that? Didn't he say that in like another episode previously that something about an eating disorder, like when he met her
Yeah, I think it was
at
the
the
uh
at school or
the
something?
shoplifting, I thought maybe.
No, I thought he brought up the eating disorder at school or something.
I don't remember.
But I was like, why is this continuing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Yeah. So Brooke laughs and then calls the waiter over. She asks what's their most expensive entree to get back at him. Before the waiter can even answer, she says, "Sounds great, she'll take two." She's really hungry. Felix claps and tells her
So
nicely played.
I thought her dare, honestly, I thought her dare was going to be she would have to actually eat whatever she ordered
Right.
because she doesn't know what she's ordering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you would check to see what you're going to order before you order it. So the fact that I thought he'd be like, okay, this is your dare,
Right.
but it didn't happen that way. Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't have to really eat it, right?
Right. Yeah, because he says he'll be right back and then gets up from the table.
So he was never there the whole time.
Right. Basically, yeah. And then back at the spa with Nathan and Tim, they're about to get the full body treatment. Tim says that they want the special. Nathan asks, what is the special? The massage therapist says the special is very nice and asks who's first. Tim raises his hand and says, me. Nathan asks if this is just like a real massage, and Tim tells Nathan to shut up. He's concentrating.
Oh no, this scene was
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't because Tim was so in like involved in this. Like I was like, I couldn't.
Yeah, just like the cops. Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't. I'm like, and then it was funny because when Nathan was like, I don't need to be here for this. And I was like, neither do
Mm-hmm.
I.
Yeah.
I don't need to see Tim getting horny
Mm-hmm.
because that's what it is. I don't need to see it. And I'm with Nathan out the door.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you need to see it?
No.
I was like, oh God. And then it was funny because it's just a wax.
Mm-hmm.
Now, wouldn't that have been displayed somewhere that that's what the full body is?
Yeah, I think Felix.
Wouldn't it be the full body wax or something?
Yeah, I think since it was vague, they just really didn't know as guys.
Because I'm like, normally that's what they say. Like, this is the
Mm-hmm.
package deal, full body wax
Mm-hmm.
or full body massage. Like the fact that there's nothing after full body is kind of weird to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just then she pulls off a strip that was on Tim's leg. He yells in pain. Nathan
Nathan's like,
says
I'm
he's
out of
out.
here.
Yeah, and gets off the table and walks out, leaving Tim to go through the torture alone. And then this was another Tim liking Nathan moment or something, maybe because he did not care that Nathan was in the room with him when he got his happy ending, quote unquote. So that was weird.
Maybe you said it.
Yeah. And then back at the batting cages, Mouth is struggling to let the ball hit him. And Skills tells him to toughen up, even though he's not the one that
And
went out there,
he's the one that babied out of it and was like, you do it, Mouth. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't want to do it, so shut up. I was like,
Yeah.
poor Mouth, get some new friends.
Mm-hmm. Even Fergie tells him to take one for the team.
And what is he doing? He's not even taking a picture.
Right.
You know, if I was Mouth, I'd be like, that's fine. But the next dare is yours.
Mm-hmm. Just then a ball hits Mouth on the head, making him stumble back into the cage behind him and hanging on for dear life. Skill says he missed it and didn't get the picture
Of
and
course.
tells Mouth he's going to have to do it again.
Do you think Skills did that on purpose?
No, I think it just how quick it was. I can see how hard it would be to get the picture of the exact moment he got hit. So I think for that, they sure just took a video and that would have been one take.
Yeah, because then you can see in action that he got hit.
Yeah. And then back at the mall with Lucas, he gives the cashier the receipt and says he needs to return the pants too.
And then
And
do you have them?
mhm,
And what does he do?
that's when he starts undoing the pants he has on while a girl nearby watches Lucas.
Um, in real life, don't you think
Hmm.
they'd call security?
Yeah.
Like the
And
person is undressing their pants
yeah, an
in the
employee would definitely do
store.
that.
You know what I mean? I,
Yeah.
I feel like security would be there.
I mean, they already got his eye on him, but not at this part.
They
And
should be
then,
following him around. You would think that
hmm
there's some
yeah.
lazy security, right?
hmm Then the next scene, we see Brooke answer the phone. It's Felix who says to Brooke that she shouldn't be answering his phone, even though he left it there. And Brooke asks where he is, and he says he's at the cafe, and tells her to flip the dare card over.
I
In the
can't
back
with
of the
it.
card says dine and dash. And Brooke tells him he did not just leave her there alone. He laughs, and Brooke tells him she doesn't have the money to pay for this, and she's not walking out on the check. Felix says, why not? He's seen her steal before. Besides, he dares her and he hangs up the phone.
So with this scene, I love that Brooke is like, she thinks that's wrong because it is. But knowing that she thinks it's wrong, I love because I feel like season one Brooke, or at least early on in season one Brooke, probably wouldn't care. She probably
Hmm.
would do it.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's growing and she knows right from wrong, I love that.
Hmm.
You have to admit, the first few episodes of season one, she could care less about anything or anyone.
Right. But then we go back to the mall where Lucas is taking off the pants. The cashier is enjoying watching this. He gives her the pants while a security guard is watching and then tells Lucas to stay put. Just then, the girl, who we know later as Anna, pushes a rack of clothes towards the security guard to distract him and
No,
tells Lucas to follow her.
I would think that really wouldn't work.
Right.
I mean, all she did was push it toward. I was like, I don't know.
Mm.
The fact that they got
Unless,
that far ahead,
yeah, unless he's just really slow, the guard, yeah.
well, he must be because
Hmm.
it didn't make much sense. I'm like, all they have to do is step over the rack if it fell. All they have to do
Hmm.
is push it away and keep running.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, and then Lucas quickly takes a selfie with the cashier who is still holding the pants and
And at
receipt.
that point, the security guard could have got him.
Hmm. And then back at the restaurant, Brooke gets her purse, then gets up and starts walking towards the exit when a waiter sees her and tells her she has to pay for the bill. Brooke keeps walking, and the guy who shows people to their table sees her too. And then back at the mall, Lucas and Anna are still running. Anna says her car is outside. Lucas stops when she says this. He
Now,
tells him to trust her.
I have a problem with Lucas.
Hmm.
It's either go with Anna or who, yes, we don't know her name yet, but go with her or be arrested.
Right.
Which one are you taking?
I think he was just having flashbacks of um what's her name? My goodness.
Nikki.
Yeah. Like maybe
Yeah,
that she's the same.
yeah, but I'm saying in the moment, it's like,
Yeah, I know.
Lucas, you want to be arrested
Hmm.
tonight?
Yeah, that's probably what he was thinking, like another Nikki or getting arrested.
Again, I would take going with the girl because I'm not gonna get arrested.
Mm,
Wouldn't you?
yeah,
At least you can say, at least when you get out to the car, you can be like, okay, decide then if you want to really go.
right.
Because you can hide
Mm-hmm.
once you're outside. You just have to get there.
Yeah. And the guard's catching up with them, so now Lucas follows Anna outside the mall. And then
Little
we
too
see
late. I'm just kidding.
hmm, then we see Lucas in the back of Anna's car, which is like a parallel to when Brooke was naked in the back of his. Anna gives him the bag of clothes inside. He asks if he wants the locker key back. He says no thanks.
Well, I will say that, I mean, he definitely should have been arrested. I mean, he was in the mall, shirtless and pantsless.
Mm-hmm.
All he had was his underwear.
Yeah, he should have been
So,
arrested for
yeah, he should have
indecency.
been. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he says sorry about everything while he's getting dressed. He explains it's a dare night thing. He didn't want to, back down. And it
And
says she
she's
saw him
loving
earlier.
this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she saw him earlier and she figured it was something like that. She didn't want him to get busted for having a little fun. So do you think she knew this was her brother's doing because he's done
I
this before in
know.
other towns?
I know. I was like, it, I know it threw me off too because I'm like, you seem like you know about this, and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
happen in Tree Hill. Like, they're not just, I don't think people are just going around daring each other because obviously Tim said that at the beginning. That's why he wanted to do it. So it's like, and the fact that you know your brother, yeah, I'm thinking she knew that he was going to do this, but aren't you a little curious that she knew that day he was doing it?
Right.
Like, did he tell her, hey, this is what I'm doing tonight? Because at the end, it didn't sound like that he had told her anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if maybe she saw the cards with their names on it or something. You know what I mean? That, or if she caught him on the phone making these reservations. I don't know, but did sound like she kind of knew about it.
Right. Yeah, so maybe she had witnessed someone getting caught and arrested for the dare, so she don't want, someone to get in trouble because of her brother again, probably.
Hmm.
And then, he asks for her name. She answers Anna. He introduces himself.
At
He
least
asks
she
if
gave
she's
the
from
right
Tree Hill.
name.
Yeah. He says, yeah, but they wouldn't have met. And it's because she tends not to roll with guys in bras and leather pants. He says she's funny. He then gets in the front seat with her and says he owes her. Anna says, how about he pays her back by letting her play too? He says, okay. She asks what's next, and he goes to look at the card. Then we go back to Tim and Nathan, whose card reads, sell a box of cookies. Tim doesn't think this is fair that he went through the wax torture while Nathan gets cookies. The massage therapist tells Nathan Felix left him this box. They look inside of it. Nathan says he really doesn't like Felix.
Okay, I will say sorry at the beginning. I said Nathan didn't do anything. Nathan did. He did a Girl Scout thing.
Right, yeah.
That was the only thing he did.
Hmm. And then the next scene, we see Tim and Nathan dressed up in Girl Scout outfits going door to door to sell cookies.
This was so
Card,
funny.
yeah, the card even has a script for them to follow. And I wrote it if you
Oh.
want me to say it out loud.
No, I'm good, but Nathan was just
Okay.
too funny.
Yeah. Yeah, because Tim's smiling while holding up the box of cookies and, Nathan's continuing.
I have
But
a
then the woman
question.
closes the door in their faces. Yeah.
So everyone else's dares threw me off because everybody else's had one person taking the picture and one person doing the dare. But when it came to Nathan and Tim, they both were doing the dare
Right.
because Nathan was gonna do the waxing until he found out what it was. And um and then here they're both doing dressing up as Girl Scouts.
Right.
So I was like, out of everyone, they're the ones that are both doing the dare. I thought only one person is supposed to do the dare and the other one takes the picture because that's what everybody else was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Did that throw you off? Like, why are they both doing this?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it would be weird if it was only one of them. Yeah.
But
Unless,
everybody else is doing one.
Yeah, I mean, and then we didn't even see them take pictures or video of them doing it, so that was kind of a waste of time too.
What, for Nathan and Tim?
Hmm.
Yeah, because everybody else is taking pictures of their group, whoever they're with, except for Nathan and Tim. That's why also like theirs just seem weird to me because why are they both doing it and nobody's taking a picture? Like
Hmm.
Lucas is by himself and finding people to take pictures of him.
Right.
That's what was weird. Unless
Mhm.
they're supposed to get like the mom to take pictures of them in a Girl Scout uniform, but that would be weird.
Hmm.
Okay, and honestly, if they were at your door to meet, like if they came to my door, I wouldn't even answer. I'd be like, what are these two doing?
Right, yeah.
Would you answer?
No. I'd be curious why they're dressed in uniforms, but no.
So would you open the door and go, so why are you dressed in uniforms?
No. No. So as they walk away from the house, Nathan says, screw this dare night crap. He can't believe he's wearing a skirt. And then Tim says, yeah, in public. Did you catch that?
I, yeah. And I'm like, technically, they're not, they are in public, I guess,
Just, yeah, no, with a lot of people.
but it's not like you're Lucas.
Hmm.
Lucas is at the freaking mall where
Yeah.
everybody's hanging out and
Hmm.
he's naked
Right.
practically.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
just saying
like,
because that means that Tim does wear skirts at probably his house and is, alone.
yeah. And
So
it's
I was
like,
just
and Nathan
wondering.
obviously doesn't.
Yeah, because there, Nathan has a pause to that and then says that when they get to the cafe, he's gonna beat up Felix. And Tim says he thinks he's cool, and Nathan says he would. Tim explains 1 week it's Lucas, now it's Felix. Just tell him where they're hanging out next week because he's having trouble keeping up.
I love that.
Hmm. But then Nathan
You
tells,
you didn't love that?
no, I did.
Because
But
like
Nate,
he needs to know that.
hmm, yeah. So Nathan tells Tim that he wouldn't have that problem if he got a life of his own and quit living his. And this obviously hurts Tim and makes him angry, so he says whatever and walks away. Nathan realizes he messed up.
I will say that, you know, it also was the fact that Nathan said he doesn't like Felix because he's hitting on Haley.
Hmm.
And which he hasn't really lately, has he?
No, but he's just hating him now with doing these deers.
And um and then that's when Tim said he's uh he said it's always about her.
Hmm.
And then it was weird because he goes, it used to be about like us and stuff. And I'm like, okay. Because eventually you do grow up and things change.
Hmm.
But I don't think that Nathan should just disregard his relationship with his friend.
Right. But that was funny because when they were walking, Keith ends up seeing Nathan from the passenger side of the car that Jules is driving.
I know. That was funny. And then did you see Keith? He's like, so like he was trying
Hmm.
so hard to act like he don't know that person.
Yeah.
But it's not like she said, look at those guys.
Hmm.
If she
Right.
would
She
have
didn't even
said
notice.
that,
Hmm.
yeah, if she would have noticed and said that, then that would have been one thing of like, oh, I don't know these people. But the fact that he's acting like that and she doesn't even know,
Hmm.
I was like, that was a little weird to me.
Right.
But it was funny that he saw. What do you think he would have done if he had saw Lucas?
Yeah. Then he probably would have told Jules to
Stopped.
stop for a second. Yeah.
I need to talk to him.
Hmm.
Eh,
Yeah. And then Keith, points out Jules driving because she didn't stop at the stop sign. Yeah. So when Jules was driving, she said the stop sign came out of nowhere. So Keith says maybe he should drive them
Did
back.
they crash or something?
No, she just missed the stop sign.
They acted like they crashed.
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah, and there's no
oh,
other cars
okay,
around. I think maybe it's too because of his accident. Maybe that was triggering for him. Like he didn't want to get into another accident or she wasn't doing
maybe.
what she was supposed to be doing.
Especially if she's driving and she clearly doesn't see signs.
Hmm. Yeah, so she says that she'll be fine. Besides, car salesmen are always jerks. He just smiles in response to that.
I'm a
Jules asks why he's
mechanic.
smiling. Yeah. Well, he explains that his brother owns a dealership. He's just helping out. Yeah, he's a mechanic, and Jill says she loves mechanics.
Ah.
What a coincidence. And then Brooke gets back to the cafe and tells Felix he's a jerk. Felix says it's just a dare. She got them big points for that one. And then he puts out his fist for a fist pump, but Brooke just tosses his cell phone on the table. Brooke tells him he should be locked up, and Felix says he's sorry for her not to go. It was just part of the game. He didn't know she would be so upset. Tells her to read the next dare, go to the cemetery. She turns it
So when he
around.
says that it's part of the game,
Mm-hmm.
he made the game up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like someone
Mhm.
else made it up.
Right.
So it's like, of course, he's doing it on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
which is what she's trying to explain.
Right. So she turns the card around and it says take a photo in an open grave. She tells Felix that's perfect since she plans on killing him anyway.
They have open graves around.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Like he must have had to have gone to the cemetery to check beforehand, or else that card would have been pointless. So
Yeah, but don't they dig or have it? I don't know. Like, when would they dig the hole? Like, I feel like they would do it like the morning of,
well, from what I know
not
about
not just have an open grave.
well, yeah, what I know from at least movies and such, they always show the people digging at night beforehand. So I guess it's ready for, the ceremony in the morning. I don't know. 'Cause I don't know how long it takes either. So maybe that's it too. So they just have plenty of time to do it. So
Hmm.
yeah, I was just thinking about how he would even know that there's one available. So he had to have gone beforehand to check to see
He had to
that
go to
day.
all these places.
Yeah. So I'm surprised they did all that work. Yeah. Seems like a lot for him.
Well, and isn't it
Um,
kind of comical how that shirt kind of just fit perfectly on Lucas?
right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, because if it went to, I don't know, anybody else, I mean,
Hmm.
it was just kind of like, how is it just fit him perfectly? It wasn't too big or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he just was lucky on that one.
Something. Even
Yeah.
the pants.
Hmm.
He knew Lucas's size.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if they were the same size, it was just a lucky guess. I guess I don't know.
Because that's weird, because he was doing it for the dare. So it's like,
Mm.
and also he knew Nathan and Tim's size for the uniforms.
Well, I thought they looked kind of small in them, but yeah. Maybe it's like the biggest size in Girl Scout uniforms. I don't know.
Oh my God.
And then back with the guys, Fergie reads the next year that says karaoke. They all agree Mel should sing. And he ends up singing Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Okay, but why? Seriously. They're just like, oh, Mouth is doing this one. It's like, when are you people gonna do a dare?
Yeah. And it just makes sense too, because we saw Mouth at the cheerleading competition. So he's just like up for anything, really.
Well, but Skills is the one that is good at sports. So why wouldn't he do the batting cage?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, real quit making Mouth do everything.
Hmm.
I felt bad for him. I'm like, poor man. I mean, I know he likes doing this, but I'm like, quit making him do everything.
Hmm. And then while somewhere else, Anna and Lucas are getting change from a water fountain. Anna says she has 380. Lucas says they need $5. And then back to the club, Mouth is still singing. Then Skills and Fergie join him
So
as backup singers.
did you notice at first when he was singing and stuff like all the like some of the girls in the audience or women, they were like, "Ugh," but I was entertained.
Hmm.
I was like, I don't know what their looks are for because I'm liking it.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was getting all into it and dancing, basically twerking and all.
Hmm.
And then back at the batting cages, it's Haley and Payne's turn now with trying to get hit in the head with the fastball.
You
I'm
mean Peyton
surprised.
trying to get hit?
Yeah, I said Payne's turn now with trying to get hit in the head with a fastball.
Well, because you said, hey, it's Haley and Peyton, and I was like, no, it's more
Oh,
like
yeah.
Peyton. Haley's
Yeah.
just standing there.
Right. And then I put Payne as the one in the helmet while Haley takes the photo. I was surprised that Felix had, both teams do the same exact dare.
That
Surprised
was
about
my
that.
thing. Okay, normally, I feel like normally, like dare games
Mm-hmm.
like this, I
Mm-hmm.
feel, and you're on teams, I feel like you'd have to do all the same dares
Right.
because some are worse than others.
Yeah, and time consuming too.
So I was so confused at why everyone was doing different dares. Like the
Mm-hmm.
guys were doing different than the girls. And I was like, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Normally you would have them all do the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like it's kind of like a race. Whoever gets done fast and actually did them all wins.
Right.
But not this
Mm-hmm.
because some are illegal.
Right.
And also I was kind of I had like questions on this too of this dare night
Mm-hmm.
because it seemed like the guys' team were doing way more than the girls' team.
Yeah.
Because you had Lucas doing his own things, you had Nathan and Tim doing their own thing, and then you had Mouth, Fergie, and Skills. And I was like, they're all part of the
That's
same team.
yeah, but they're in three different groups. Yeah, that's not right.
I was like, they're on the same team. It's boys against
Mhm.
girls.
Yeah.
And the girls have done like Brooke did what, two? No,
Mm-hmm.
she two or three dares. And
Right.
Peyton and like I was like, I think the guys won because they did
Mm-hmm.
way more dares than the girls.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand that one. I feel like the writers should have probably tallied which team, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because the guys in my mind did way more.
Mm-hmm. And then Peyton gets up with the ball. Haley goes to help her, and then she gets hit in the back
Why
with the
would you
ball.
help her?
Just instinct. And so she runs back trying to hit
Peyton's
again.
Peyton's instinct should have been move.
No, I'm in Haley's to help her
No,
try to hit.
I'm just saying, Haley wouldn't have to help you if you just move out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in the Drama Queens podcast, Joy had said that it wasn't a real baseball, of course, that hit her. It was one of those like kid softballs, like the foam ones. So luckily she didn't get hurt like the water balloon this time.
That's good because it looked like it hurt.
Mm-hmm. And then back at karaoke, Mouth is still going at it. Skills takes a video. And then the next scene is with Karen and Andy on their date. They go to get hot dogs from a vendor. And he says to Karen that he knows his class is required for a week, but what else does she like to do? She says mostly school and a cafe and her son. And he says her son has a tough mom. And then he tells her he thinks it's so great she went back to school in her late 20s. She looks at him because that's not correct. Guesses early 30s. She shakes her head and he asks how old she is. And she says is that old enough to have never heard of the band, the Constantines. And he
How
says,
old?
but
How old? I have a question.
mhm.
How old does Karen think she is?
I don't know. Back then it was like the 30s were like different kind of 30s and today like we are. So
No, but she'd be in her early 30s, was
yeah,
my
I think
point.
yeah, closer to mid 30s maybe.
Because if she was like 18, as they like claim, when she
Hmm.
had Lucas, he's what, 16? She'd be
Yeah,
34.
right,
She's not even mid, or she's
right.
not, I'm like, that didn't make any sense. I'm like,
Hmm.
Karen, you are, because you're like 34.
Right.
And he's what, almost, he's close to 30. That's not that big of an age gap.
Hmm.
It's not like she's 40 dating a 25-year-old.
Right. Yeah, so Karen says she was thinking about what he said last week about challenging yourself moving forward. She had a plan that she would open another business in Tree Hill and discussed it with her business partner, and they decided to take the plunge. And he asks if he can invest. Karen says no. And asks if he wants to get some ice cream. He says fine, but he's not made of money as a joke. She says it's her treat. He says if she buys some ice cream, does that mean? And she tells him that there's cultures where you can actually have ice cream. That was a callback to earlier when she was talking about the coffee. And then Lucas and Anna are eating at a pizza place at the mall still. Anna asks if this is weird because they just met, because people don't just meet and hang out like this unless it's a hookup. And it's not. Lucas says he didn't think it was. Besides, he's not doing that anymore. And he asks,
Anymore.
yeah, anymore. And Lucas says it's a long story. And then Anna asks Lucas if he thinks that two people can get to know each other without ever going to their long stories. Lucas says sure, and Anna says, isn't who you were a part of who you are? Lucas says maybe, but he guesses he doesn't need to know the person she used to be as much as the person she's trying to be.
What about you?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't want to know their past?
Well, maybe not right away if it's too personal, not until you get to know each other better.
Yeah.
And then Anna asks if Lucas is ready for the next dare. Lucas takes out the next card and lets Anna do the honors. She takes a photo with a stranger. It says take a photo with a stranger in a photo booth. Anna spots a photo booth
She
nearby. They get
was
inside
really
it.
into it.
Yeah. Anna says she has a confession to make. The card doesn't say take a photo with a stranger in a photo booth. It says make out with a stranger in a photo booth. Anna says it's just a dare, right? It's no big deal.
Which he is happy to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so they do it, and then he asks about part two. Anna reads bonus points and tells him he has to get out of the booth for this one. Then she pulls him closer to kiss him again before he leaves the booth.
Do you think it really said that?
I don't know, maybe. But yeah, it'd be kind of like the whole returning the clothes kind of thing, indecency again. But
Well, but
um
also it's about what is it like um it's supposed to be the girl doing that, right?
yeah.
So why would Felix care about a stranger um nude? Do you know what I mean? If
Mhm.
he's trying to chase after Brooke,
Right. I think
unless he's
just
a perv or something. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because
I
it's a
think
stranger.
yeah. I think he just wanted to see if Lucas or whoever got that card to see if he would actually convince the girl to do it. So and Lucas didn't even know what it said. So and then yeah, so she does it. She comes back out. Lucas actually she's gonna tell him what that was about. So she grabs a photo from the printer and tears it up and or not tears it up. She just grabs the whole thing
Covers
and
it.
says, "Yeah, maybe," and just walks off. She put the phone around purse. And then the next scene is with Felix and Brooke in the cemetery, where Brooke says she doesn't think they need these points this much. Felix says he'll protect her. She says that's exactly what she's counting on. He
Um,
asks,
I have a thing
yeah,
with this.
mm-hmm,
Well, of Felix.
right,
He's on the same team as Brooke.
mm-hmm,
And so when they were at dinner and he got up and left, I was like, you're on the same team, dummy.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, why would you just get up and leave? And it didn't make any sense because I'm like, you're on the same team. Wouldn't you both be doing it?
Yeah, he just wanted to mess with her to see if she
I
would do it or not.
I know, but it's pretty stupid. You're on the same team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just wanted to see what she would be willing to do, like everybody else. Then he asks if she prefers Lucas. She asks what did Mal tell him. Felix says nothing. It's just when you move around a lot, school cliques are easy to read. Her and Lucas obviously had something, and Brooke says they did. They had something fake and painful that she's not going to discuss with him and a bunch of dead people.
But she kind of somewhat did.
Yeah. And she asks what about him. She can't imagine anyone actually dating him. He says the question is why would he date them when he could just hook up with them instead? No strings attached. And Brooke says she doesn't think that works. Somebody always ends up getting hurt. He says not if you're upfront about it. He says they both had sex this year, but he isn't the one here talking about how painful it was.
So how did you like their dare? How one of them had to get in the cemetery, like get in the hole
Yeah, I
in
didn't
the
like that.
grave. I was like, what? And that's
Yeah.
pretty deep.
Mm-hmm.
How you getting the person out?
Yeah. It's usually 6 by 6. So yeah, it's definitely a two-person dare at least. If not three. Like, because like if it was me, it'd have to be at least two other people, or else one of us isn't getting out. But yeah,
You're stuck there forever.
yeah. Or until the morning when they, are about to put the
Because
casket in
this
there.
hole didn't seem big enough
Right, yeah.
that a real one would be because
Hmm.
they fit perfectly. And then when they get
Yeah.
out, it's not that hard to get out.
Right, yeah. I think they just did that because realistically they couldn't have the actors actually get out of an actual real grave like that. So,
Yeah, but I'm just saying it was
hmm
like, eh.
yeah. Yeah, in real life you would need a ladder. And then yeah, so he has Brooke get in first because if it's the other way around, she won't be
She
able
wouldn't
to,
be able to, yeah,
yeah,
lift him out. Yeah.
yeah. So that made sense. But because she does bring up that he didn't do anything tonight, it was just her, which she had a point too. But Yeah, so he helps her in the grave and then tells her to, see you later. And she yells not to leave her there.
So
And
it was so when he was taking the picture,
hmm
and then he sees wasn't it the cops or was it
Yeah.
security?
Yeah, cops. Yeah.
Then he jumps in with her.
Yeah. And I guess she didn't see the lights from down there because she didn't know what he was doing when he, grabbed her and put her in the corner with him and told her to be quiet.
Yeah, I don't think she could see.
Yeah. But what I thought is like he had a flashlight with him, but he didn't turn the flashlight off until like a good few seconds after he got in the hole with her. So I feel like that was just too long to do that. Um,
Yeah, you would think the police would see a flashlight because it's
yeah.
dark out and you're in a grave site.
Yeah.
Nobody's supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm. And then we don't see if they get caught because we go to the next scene with Fergie, Skills and Mouth
Oh
at a
my
terrarium,
God. No,
reptiles.
I think isn't it like you first see all the snakes first? Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, it's dark as they sneak in. I guess Felix gave them a key to get in. Skills says the stair is messed up. Fergie reads, borrow an animal from the zoo. Okay, yeah, so it didn't say specifically a snake. You just think it would be the worst animal that would be in there to get. So,
why are they, if all of them hate the
hmm
snakes, why are they getting a snake?
yeah, I don't know. I just figured that like, the worst animal to get would be on the deer card.
I thought it would be specific. Get a
hmm
snake, get a,
Yeah.
get
hmm
a bunny. Oh, that's, the easy one.
Yeah.
That's what I would take.
Right. And then Mouse says it's like that movie where they try to steal the cougar, and then Skills asks, but what? And Free says the cougar eats them, and Skills tells Mouth he
Something
said he
like
wanted
that.
to get a bird, but they're in a damn snake house. I never heard of that movie, but he says he's
Okay,
not stealing
so
snakes.
this whole thing is too many snakes. And it's like they're in the section of snakes. Why?
hmm
So
Yeah,
is
that's
this
why
a
you would
pet
think they.
store?
I think I was at terrarium, like a public place to see the wild animals.
Yeah, so somebody's taking care of them.
hmm
They're not wild.
I mean, technically they're still wild because they're in their own
No.
habitats.
Yes, but what happens at the end, I don't like.
They release the animal that they got, and then technically, because they didn't know any better, they put the turtle in the wrong kind of water to live in.
Well, because
And
the turtle has been used to living in his little cage.
yeah,
And then you go and take him and put him, he needs to be in the
hmm
wild. He does
right,
not. He's so
hmm
used to being in a
yeah, and
cage, he
yeah,
doesn't know any better.
yeah, and then they give him food directly, so he doesn't know how to get his own food. So yeah, so if they put him in the right water, he still wouldn't have survived very long. Yeah,
I mean, it's like, um, I mean, all the animals at the zoo
hmm
and, all the alligators that are at the rescues.
hmm
Um, it's the same thing. Those alligators are totally different than the wild alligators.
hmm Yeah, I'm just saying wild as in they could still hurt a human if they wanted to.
Well, they could, but I'm just saying that somebody's been taking care of them,
hmm
so they're not. They don't know any better to
Right.
how to fend for themselves against
Mhm.
other creatures,
Yeah,
people,
predators.
food. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so I felt bad for it.
yeah. But I thought it was funny how Skills was struggling with, what animal to get
He
because he's
was
never had a
struggling with
pet.
a fish.
Yeah. He said he bets Felix knows that he never had a pet. The dude is psychotic. And
No, I
I
have a
put that
thing though.
backwards. Put that backwards. He said that dude is psychic and Freddie cracks him to psychotic and Skills says, yeah, that too.
But when they brought up the fish and he said too
hmm
slimy, I was like, but you don't have to use your hand to get the fish.
I guess, yeah, if they couldn't find a net, maybe, but
But
then just don't get the fish.
don't you think the net would be somewhere?
Yeah.
I was like, or whatever you're putting the fish in, can't you,
hmm
sweep it up that way? I'm like,
hmm
it didn't make any sense that you would grab the fish by your hand. I was like,
Yeah, they were just
what?
making it too complicated for themselves. Yeah.
I'm like, you guys, skills thought way too into this.
hmm And then back at the cemetery, the police leave with Felix and Brooke still in the grave. He tells her to give him a boost to see if the coast is clear. She asks if he's kidding because her shoes are muddy, and he says it's either give him a boost or be buried alive. Then, so in reality, they would have just gotten in trouble for being in the grave because I'm sure they wouldn't just drop dirt in there without glancing inside of it first. And there would just be an easy way to see them either way. You know, you get close enough, you can see there's two people in there. So,
I have a question.
hmm
Are cemeteries closed at night?
I think it depends on the cemetery, really. I know like some aren't gated and some are, so I think that could be it too. I don't know about this one here. Yeah.
Because couldn't they have just said they were visiting a
Yeah. I
relative?
mean, yeah, I mean, it would be odd because they're there that late, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, maybe they were checking a tombstone.
hmm And both ended up in the grave.
No, I'm just saying why they'd be at the cemetery. I'm not saying why they'd be in there. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that I don't think they could really truly get arrested for walking through the cemetery.
Yeah. I guess it really depends on the cemetery, whether it would be considered trespassing or not.
But then again, I don't know because I never go to the cemetery in the dark.
Yeah, me either. So
I
Brooke
go at
helps,
daytime.
yeah. Brooke helps Felix up. She tells him to get her out now. He pulls her out.
You
And
think
then
she could lift him out
no. And then Brooke
that high?
yeah, no. Brooke frantically shakes the dirt off of her and says, "Stupid dear night." She says, "Felix, where did he come up with with this, horrible kind of dares? What's the point?" He says, "The point is simple: to see how far you would go to face your fears. Sometimes you do the things you want to do because calling it a dare makes it okay for a night." And Brooke asks, "Like what?" And he says, "Like spending time with him." She scoffs. And then Payne and Haley are at a church now. That this was really definitely pushing it
Oh,
to
by the way,
plan
when Brooke got
a
out,
religion. hmm
it was too easy.
Right, yeah.
I was like, she wasn't even trying to struggle.
Yeah, like I said, that definitely wasn't deep enough like it would be
No,
in real life.
because he should have been struggling too, trying to get her out.
Yeah. And then Kane and Haley are at a church now. Like I said, this is really pushing it depending on your religious
Well,
beliefs.
I didn't like it because they're making it a joke.
Yeah.
People go
Yeah.
there to to confession for a reason, and you're making a mockery of it. Like
Yeah, so I said.
she's supposed to go there and talk about a neighbor's dog or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that's why Haley didn't want to do it. I don't know if she looked at the card beforehand or just, trusted that Felix would put something horrible on there already.
But I didn't like it because you're making a mockery of someone's religion,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that's stupid.
hmm But then Kaden did bring up that they never really talked about the wedding, like how she got there.
Who could talk about it? They got married and then had a party, and now we're at their night.
Yeah, so that was a bit, random to talk about, out of all times. But Peyton clarifies like how her heart got there. Marriage is big. She doesn't know how she could trust somebody for her whole life. And Payne adds that she can't even date somebody without an escape route. And
Uh,
Haley's,
what I thought was weird was when she said that she trusts Nathan. I was like,
hmm
isn't that how they got themselves in trouble right before the wedding?
yeah,
Because she didn't trust him.
hmm
So to say I trusted him or I trust him, I'm like, huh? You mean
right,
that threw me off because I'm like, Haley, I don't think you quite remember what happened. That
hmm
you didn't trust him.
yeah. But she said it was more about trusting herself, but I don't know.
Yeah. I know that's what threw me off. I was like, okay. Because she was the good one,
hmm
the one that was responsible. So that didn't make any sense because I'm like, trusting yourself, what?
hmm Yeah, Payne admits she has self-doubts. She doesn't know. Sometimes everything seems really simple and then it's not. Haley finishes for her. So yeah, Payne does the dare
How'd you like
because
when she brings
Haley,
up her mom?
yeah, I liked how she just kind of put the car down and did that. And then did you hear about how Hillary did this scene from the podcast?
Mm-mm.
She said it was I believe a pastor that she knew personally who had passed that she was close to. So she was like kind of talking to him during this scene and kind of channeling her emotions from that.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
good.
so this scene we do find out that she did end up doing that line of coke with that don't know what his name is, Rick
I
or
think
whatever, the
Rick,
band
yeah.
manager. Yeah. Um, she's just thinking if her mom saw that and um, scared if she's because her life's pretty good. She was searching for something to make it great, something to make it matter. And she's just scared to let that go. She knows it was wrong. She wants her mom to know that. She wants her to know that she's not that person. She's not going to be. Yeah, so luckily there was someone there to listen to her because it would have been bad if there wasn't, because I think she really needed to get that off her chest to somebody.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then back with Nathan and Tim, Nathan tells
So
him he's
this
sorry.
is yeah, so this is where they talk about Haley.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was funny how he says, doesn't he miss Tim time?
And so here's the thing. Like at first, like I was all on Tim's side
Mm-hmm.
because he had every reason to be upset.
Yeah.
Because Nathan is all about Haley and he
Mm-hmm.
has been hanging out with Lucas and them. So, he has distanced himself from Tim, and we know later on he like cuts him out basically.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that. And so I agree with Tim, but so it's like I was on his side, but then when he said Tim time, I was like, all right,
Yeah,
you
he
lost
ruined
me.
it. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about you can't ruin that. I'm like, I was on your side. Like you were finally actually right on something. And then you gotta say that.
Right.
I was like, then I was over it. I was like, never mind, I'm back to being on Nathan's side.
Yep. And then yeah, so he says he doesn't miss hanging out with him, but not Tim time.
I don't I think Nathan just feels sorry for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're really friends.
Yeah, but either way, Nathan says he knows a lot of things have changed, but them being friends isn't one of them. They've been boys a long time. He wouldn't trade it that for anything,
Oh,
especially now that everything's crazy.
okay.
Yeah. And then back with Keith and Jules at the dealership, Keith says to Jules that she picked a good car, but the price she offered was a grand too high, and he couldn't take a penny more. Jules asks if this is some kind of new car selling trick. He says he wouldn't know. He's just a mechanic. Jules
So
asks,
was this car not priced?
I think just not priced that high that she was offering.
Because I'm just confused because I'm like, wouldn't you go up with whatever the price says or under?
Mm,
And then that's
yeah,
how you would go back and forth.
right.
I'm like, 1,000 too high. That must not be priced
Mm-hmm.
unless it was one. I don't know, unless it like had just come in and they didn't have time to price it yet or something.
Right. And then yeah, Jules says no, she just figures that if she waits a few days, then he'll have to call her. He has her number. And then back at the church, Payne sits next to Haley after confessing. Haley asks if she got internal damnation. Payne says the jury's still out on that one. Haley asks if she's okay. Payne says yeah. She thanks her for hanging out with her tonight. She's a good friend. Haley says this was fun. She's glad they did this. She needed a night like their night. Payne
I
says
was
her
happy
too.
to see Haley and Peyton hanging out.
Me
Well, we
too.
haven't seen it in a while since what, season one?
Yeah. And then back with Nathan and Tim, they have to steal the tiki god from the second hole. Tim then believes he has to go number two in hole number two. Nathan tells Tim there's something wrong with him to be willing to do that. I agree.
There is something wrong with him.
Yeah. And Tim says he didn't write the dare card. He tells Nathan to hand him the camera and get some leaves. So again, Tim's just way too comfortable with Nathan being near him when he does anything, that's unusual to be with another person
Well,
to
now
be
he's
doing.
doing it in public.
Yeah, which is even worse.
So for me, out of all the dares, I thought this one personally was the worst
Mm-hmm.
because what if you're the next one to go up and there's poop there?
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's so
Mm-hmm.
freaking disgusting. Like, ugh. And I love miniature golf, so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the scene.
Yeah. Because people's initial thought would be it's an animal, but then they would be, coming to find the horror that it's from a person. So,
Right. So that's
Yeah.
why I was like, honestly, Lucas was fine. Like I just personally, that one was just went over. It was just too much.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think or no?
Yeah, it was, yeah. And then with Andy and Karen, Andy thanks Karen for hanging out with him. She says she better get going. She has business class in the morning and her teacher is a tyrant. And he says he heard of that guy and tells Karen he thinks she's doing a great thing going after her new club. And then Karen says what she said earlier. She misread the cafe visits. He says absolutely not, and that he'll see her in class. And then back with Lucas and Anna. Lucas says it's almost midnight and the dares are done. They should get back to the cafe. Anna says she can't go, and Lucas says he has this weird history of meeting girls and then them disappearing at the end of the night. It's like Nikki. He asks if she's sure she can't meet his friends. Anna says not tonight, but she'll get his number. He puts his number in her cell phone. He asks if he can have hers. Anna says if it was just a dare night, it was just a dare night, right? And
Yeah,
she
I
rips
dare you
off,
to call me.
yeah, and she rips off the picture of her from the photo booth and gives Lucas the rest of it. And says no bonus points for him. And then back at the cafe, Felix says the guys have 150 points. The mouse, Skills, and Fergie get there with a stolen animal from the zoo. Skills tells them they may want to back up. It's kind of ferocious. Fergie opens the box to reveal a turtle.
Now I
Everyone
will
laughs.
say, if it's a snapping turtle, you might want to move.
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well,
Because,
so at my grandparents' cabin when we
mm,
were younger, we saw a turtle on the side of the road.
mm-hmm,
So we put it in the back seat
yeah,
and turned out to be a snapping turtle. So we went,
mhm,
you're going back outside on the road.
right, yeah.
It was like, yeah, we drove a little bit and realized it was a snapping turtle.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Skills says, go ahead and laugh, but they should have seen this thing before they tamed it. It was vicious and snapping.
I love how it's not even moving. It's like, whatever, Skills, look at it. And then did you see Haley and Peyton just petting it? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, do people pet turtles like that? I don't know.
I don't think so, no.
I don't know. But I thought they were gonna get like a bunny, something, soft and cute.
Right, but it was a reptile place, so they
Uh,
wouldn't have rabbits there. Okay, so they're back at the cafe now, where Felix goes over everybody's points and what they did, and he says it's a tie. But then Tim,
how's that a tie?
yeah, I don't know, he doesn't. He said the guys have 150 points before, so I guess the girls had that many points as well. But
But how is the guys not having more points?
I don't know.
They did more things.
Hmm. Yeah, but then Tim gives Felix the phone to show his number to and whole tool, who Felix is disgusted, of course. Tim shows him the card to prove he did the right thing, and Felix
And he
tells him
goes,
it's a
no,
typo.
yeah, that meant take a shot. It's like,
Hmm. Yeah, compared to his other dares, I wouldn't believe that wasn't a typo either. But
I know. I think he just didn't want to see the picture.
yeah,
I
but
think he was happy he did it. Like inside, I think he was like, cool, like that dummy did it.
yeah,
But to everybody else, he's like, no, that's a typo. It's like,
hmm,
but I mean, aren't you going to go off what the card said?
right,
You know what I mean?
hmm,
And take a shot?
hmm,
Isn't that easy?
right,
Like everybody else's was like stuff you wouldn't do.
hmm,
You're either going to get injured or arrested,
yeah,
or it's just plain gross, like the egg thing.
hmm,
But is just take a shot.
right,
Yeah, I definitely don't think that was the actual um whatchamacallit there.
hmm. So Felix says that it's still a tie, but there's a tiebreaker, and he has Brooke read it out loud.
Sophia said that.
Yeah, well, yeah, she said it, what the card said out loud.
Sophia said that.
What? Say what?
You said you said Sophia said that that's a tiebreaker.
Oh, I meant Felix. I don't know why I said.
And I was
I don't know.
like, Sophia's in this?
No, I
I
mean
thought
technically she
Sophia's
is, but
playing.
yeah,
Yeah, but I thought she's playing
hmm,
Brooke. I was like
right.
so confused.
No, I meant Felix. Yeah. So the dare is to kiss another teammate on the mouth. Lucas says he guesses the girls win. Brooke says convenient, knowing Felix made this dare, so she would have to kiss him. So then she leans
Yeah.
in to
Little
act like
does
she's
he
going to.
know. Yeah.
hmm But then quickly leans in farther to kiss Peyton instead. And of course, the boys enjoyed this dare. Felix says, unless any of the guys kiss a stranger in a photo booth, that's the only dare left.
Now,
And the guys,
how come they would get a tiebreaker like that, the boys? This game was not exactly fair.
right.
So
Yeah.
the girls have to kiss each other, but the guys have to kiss a stranger
hmm
for that to be the winning point.
Yeah, it's just
Like
putting it.
how is that a game? That just seems like weird to me. It's not exactly equal.
Yeah, it's just since Felix came up with the game, it's more in his favor than anything.
Yeah, but how is that a game? Like everybody should have equal things to do.
Yeah,
And the
what's Felix?
tie
So,
should be equal.
hmm
Like unless you guys want to kiss each other, then the girls win.
Yeah,
That's equal.
yeah. So the guys look at each other, but no one speaks up. Lucas pulls the photos from the photo booth of him and Anna, but then slips it back into his pocket. Lucas says sorry to the guys, but the girls won.
I did like how Lucas he showed the nice and good Lucas that we
hmm
love and miss
Yeah,
because he didn't want to use her as the winning point or whatever to win a
right.
game because he actually
hmm
does like her. And you can see it. So I was happy he didn't. Because again, that would be like, oh my, like that's just a jerk thing to do is use her for a game.
hmm
But he didn't do that, and I liked it.
Yeah.
Also, okay, think about this. If he actually would have shown the pictures, can you imagine what Felix would have done?
Right. Yeah, that's why Anna didn't want to go back with him, but she knew her brother would be there.
No, but even the pictures.
Yeah.
It's just think about it. It's like Lucas is like, here's the pictures.
hmm
And then Felix is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we would have seen that because it would have been funny
Mhm.
to see him react because he doesn't want his sister participating in this or and especially kissing Brooke's ex.
hmm
So I
Yeah.
thought that'd be funny.
Yeah, especially the one where she tore the picture off. So,
I know at first I was like, Felix is gonna see all this.
hmm
But then in the end, Lucas doesn't show him, and I was like, okay.
yeah. So the next scene, instead of returning the turtle to the zoo, Skittles, Fergie, and Mouth release him in the wild. Even after Mouse says to Skills he could keep it as a pet, Skills says he's not about to keep no creepy looking turtle.
It's
Besides
just a
being caged,
turtle.
yeah, besides being caged up isn't living. Then after the turtle was already let go, Fergie chooses now to say it was a seed water turtle, and the guys let it go in a freshwater pond.
I hope they went in the water to go get it.
hmm Yeah, because I don't think it would have killed it that quick.
Survi
But
Yeah, it wouldn't have survived.
yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why Fergie waited until after it was let go to mention it. I could have even
Uh,
mentioned it on the way to the, walking toward the pond. He would have realized, maybe I should say something.
um, why didn't they just get something fluffy?
Because it was a reptile terrarium. They didn't have bunnies there.
How do you know?
Well, that's the scene that they showed, and at least the section of the place that they were in.
No, they wanted to show us all the how many I didn't need to see all the snakes in all of the scenes. I was like, okay, the snakes had enough time, enough camera time.
hmm
I remember like when I saw this episode coming up, I was like, oh God, because I hate snakes. And so I was like, oh God, I have to watch this scene again with the snakes
hmm
because I knew it was coming.
Yeah. And then Nathan and Haley get home. Tim is with them for some reason still. Haley asks Nathan if he had fun. He says he did eventually, but he missed her. Tim says he guesses he'll see Nathan later. Then Nathan stops him from leaving and asks if he wants to play a game of NBA Live. Tim agrees to stay. And then the next scene, Payne is at home looking at a blank notebook and anxiously messing with her pen. Then we go to the dealership where Keith is looking at Jules' application and smiles because he has her number. And then Brooke and Felix walk home together, where Felix asks Brooke to admit that she had a good time tonight. Brooke says by good time, he means waste an entire evening of her life she can never get back home or get back. Then sure. And then she says she has a question. He said he reads people, and that's how he knew to invite all of them tonight. She asks how did he read her, and Felix says he doesn't know about her yet, but he's gonna have to watch her a little more. He then says he guesses he, um, this night makes some friends now. She says maybe. And then he asks friends with benefits. She says she'll think about it and gives him his sweater back and goes inside her house. And then the next scene, Anna's looking at pictures from the photo booth when Felix walks in and says, "How was the mall?" He doesn't know, and Felix asks, "Why would he?" She
She
says,
said she's gonna
"Fine."
like it here.
Yeah. And then, so then he says, "Good night, little sister." And that was supposed to be like the reveal that they're brother and sister, at least the audience. And then the last scene is with Karen. She goes into Lucas's room. She asks how was his night. He says it was good. He asks about hers, and she says it was also good. And asks if he has a constant CD. He does and gives it to her and says she's very hip. She says she thought she would try something daring. And Lucas puts up the photos from the photo booth on his vanity mirror. And that's it.
Okay. When we go to Keith,
Mm-hmm.
looking at the application,
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to read the application
Mm-hmm.
because it said that the expiration date was November of 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what, 2004?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, so wouldn't it be like a 2-year? I don't even know. Because normally when you have to renew something, it's after a year or 2 years. It's not like a year and a half. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, are they trying to say it's November? Because even
I
though
don't
this
know.
aired around November,
Mm-hmm.
the timeline would not add up. Then I saw a date. I don't know if it was supposed to be the date of that day because it said March 16th, but it said 2000 and it looked like a 9, but it could have been a 4. But then the 4, there was a 4 in like her social security number or something, and it was a regular 4. This one looked like it could be a 9, but it could be a 4, but it didn't have the slash through it like, those weird 4s are.
Mm-hmm.
And because it didn't match that 4 in the social security number or whatever, I was so confused at what date this is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like, well, because if they're going off November, sorry, it is around March. But then that date didn't look, it just threw me off because I was like, it looks like it says 2009, but the 4 looks weird if it's supposed to be 2004. It's as if 2 people had wrote it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's just weird to me. Like, why would 2 different people write it?
Mm-hmm.
If it's trying to look like she filled out the application.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. I was trying to investigate this because I'm trying to see if they realize that it's not the month that they are, that's in the show when it's airing. It's not the same month.
Right, yeah, I don't know.
Well, sometimes shows sometimes forget that they're not, they try to be realistic, but when you're doing a show that's half of a year is one season, you can't exactly add it up to
Mm-hmm.
this airing date.
Yeah.
That's just an issue. You didn't have any thoughts on that?
No, I didn't really think about it that much.
Okay, so for all the dares, and given how Felix said that taking a shot wasn't what um Tim was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so thinking of besides Tim's, thinking of everyone's dares, what do you think was the dare you would not do?
Mm, probably the confession one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we didn't
Mine
see
would have
them.
been
Oh, so we didn't see them take a picture or a video either of Peyton doing that. So,
yeah, we saw pictures of, them take pictures of everything else.
mhm,
Um, Mine would have been take home the reptile because I know that because they were showing all the snakes. I was like, nah, I wouldn't even have enter like, like when I go to the zoo and there's snakes,
mhm,
I'm like trying to get as far away from the snakes as possible.
mhm,
Like when I saw this big freaking snake at the zoo in Florida, I was like, I don't need to go close to it. My dad's like, you can come close to it. I said, I don't trust the glass.
right.
Glass breaks, I'm dead. I'm good. I was like, I don't need to close up and personal with the snake. I was like, I'm good. And then, like the next year or two, when we went again, I was like, I don't even need to see it. I know it's over there. I don't even
Mhm,
have to go in its direction.
right.
I'm like, I don't like snakes. So I would have told the guys, I'll stay over here with turtles. You guys go look at a snake.
Mhm,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because that wouldn't have been me. I wouldn't have went near. There was too many snakes. I was like, this is very creepy. It did look like a snake store.
Mhm,
That's I was like, what kind of crazy thing is Felix coming up with? Like they're supposed to take home a snake? I'm good.
right. Mhm,
That I'd have been like, I'm out. And my thing with Haley is this girl was the first one to put down her card.
yeah.
And she didn't even do a dare.
Mhm,
Oh, I'm up for a dare. You didn't even do one. You took pictures and said, oh, I'm not doing it. You
right.
were the one that egged everybody else on basically by throwing in first.
Mhm,
I didn't like that. I was like, if you're gonna do this, you better do a dare.
mhm,
Otherwise, what was the point of everybody doing it then?
right.
So I didn't like that she was all for it and then nope, she's too good to do a dare. I didn't like that.
Right.
Um, so what was your high and low?
The low was basically any scene with Tim doing the
What?
dares. And then the high was I guess Peyton needing that moment to say everything that was on her mind the last however many days it's been since she first met that Rick guy and just to get everything out in the open so she doesn't feel that guilt and of thinking that her mom's disappointed in her and everything. And yours?
For me, the low was finding out Peyton actually did the drugs
Mm-hmm.
because she doesn't really have support.
Right.
So who's she gonna turn to? She hasn't told Brooke yet.
Yep.
Um, and Jake's not here, and Lucas is now liking Anna. So it's like, who's she gonna turn to
Mm-hmm.
besides drugs?
Right.
And now that she tried it, now it's kind of easy to go right back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially when you have nobody. So I'm a little worried for that. So I didn't like that she did that.
Right.
So that was sad to hear. Um, and then the high, um, was seeing everybody in their groups.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the pairings and stuff.
Yeah. And then writing.
Oh my God. Don't get mad at me. And I know that I gave some parts of it a hard time with it not making sense between like the dares, but it's a 10 because it was so entertaining, minus the snakes. It was so entertaining. I loved it. I'm like, it's definitely a 10 for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'd give it maybe a 9.
Is this your highest you've given one so far?
Maybe, yeah. I think so.
You liked it, didn't you?
And then the best and worst.
You go first.
My best was Anna because without her, Lucas probably would have gotten arrested. And then the worst is Felix because, the dares, like I said, was more in his favor just to get with Brooke. So it wasn't fair. And he made them do things that they didn't like to do or it really could have got hurt or in trouble for. So, and yours?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the best was Anna.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked how her character came in, which was helping somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like she just showed up to school and became friends with them. She was helping someone. Or she didn't come in like Nikki stirring up things with Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. And I like her character and everything. So for me, she was the best. And then Felix, definitely the worst. I mean, he was picking dares for some people that were illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, did he? Okay, so you know how Brooke left without paying?
Mm-hmm.
You don't dine and dash. Did he end up going back and paying for it?
Yeah, I think maybe next episode or later when Brooke and Felix are together again, I think he says to her that he did end up paying, so she didn't have to, you know, feel guilty about leaving.
Because that's what I thought. I thought, like rewatching this, I was like, I thought he paid them. I think that's why he walked away, so he could pay and then make Brooke do that. But I was like, but he didn't say it in the episode. It wasn't like at the end he finally confessed.
Right.
So I was like, oh, maybe it was in my head he did that. But either way, it was, we're going off this episode and he didn't do it. So, or, he didn't pay them. So for me, he's the worst. And, again, and why are they all wanting to do this dare with Felix? Like it's Felix.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird. It's not like one of them came. You know what they should have done? They should have done. Well, we'll come up with our own dares and we'll do it without you.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
great idea. Dare night. Perfect. We'll all do it without, like, we'll kick you out and just do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they should have done.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely the worst. Ugh. His character came in so obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like that's what you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone we can hate. Now,
Yeah.
do you actually like this Felix character
No.
at all?
No.
Me either. His character is definitely the one we just hate. You know
Except
how
for
like,
Dan. Yeah.
no, Dan, it's like you love him sometimes and then you hate him most times.
Right.
There's sometimes we like him.
Mm-hmm.
But Felix, there's just no liking.
Yeah.
It's just all downhill, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's next episode?
Episode 6, we might as well be strangers.
Long title. All right. Thanks for listening.
Yep, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.